Today, as I'm filming this, is March 2nd, so you know what time it is. It is time for another monthly reading wrap-up. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Hi, hello, how are you? How has your week been? I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit sad this time because ask me how many books I read in the month of February. Ask me. 6. I think I was still in a little bit of a reading slump from the beginning of the year. I don't know what happened, but as soon as January 1st hit, it was like I got smacked in the face and just suddenly didn't want to do anything. However, even still, I read more books in January than I did in February. But I guess we will get into the 6 books that I read in February. I just want to make it clear, 6 books is a lot. If you read 6 books in a year, that's a lot. The number of books the average person reads in a year is probably like -3. So if you read 6 books in a year, that's a lot. I am just saying, for me personally, I tend to read more than 6 books in a month. The first book that I read this month was Reckless by Lauren Roberts. This is the 2nd book in the Powerless trilogy. This is a clean YA fantasy series, and I really enjoyed the first one. I gave it 5 stars, loved the little novella that went between the first and the second books. Rated that 5 stars. This one, however, this one gets a 3 stars. I have been hearing about something that people are calling like middle book syndrome, like when authors write a fantasy series that could have been a duology, but they kind of stretch it out to make it a trilogy. The middle book always ends up just being a filler book. It doesn't really have much substance. I definitely felt that with Reckless. For a majority of the book, I would say we basically just kind of saw the same 3 scenes on repeat, written in like slightly different circumstances between slightly different characters, but overall the same broad concept. I read this book in my What I Read in a Week as a booktuber video, and I said in that video that at 30% we'd seen the same 3 scenes like 3 times already. And I was like, can we be done with that? And it's like, no, actually you're not gonna be done with that until about like 80% of the book. Once you got to the last like 30 pages of the book, Lauren Roberts actually kind of sucker punches you in the face. But like up until then, you're kind of like, is this really important? Is this really necessary? It probably in and of itself could have been a novella or just a duology. But instead we made it a trilogy. And like, yes, I will be reading Fearless because the way that Reckless set Fearless up leads me to believe that it will be really good, like has the potential to be on the same level as Powerless. However, Reckless unfortunately was not. Then I read, so the 2nd book I read this month was Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Technically I did start this book in December, but then I took a month off and then picked this book back up. I'm not gonna lie, I found the ending of this one quite underwhelming. I can't remember the last time I read this book, but the ending kind of underwhelming because like the resolution of why the book is called Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, I felt like kind of got quite wrapped up in like a page, and I was like, wait a minute, why didn't we spend a little bit more time dissecting that? Overall, I did still rate this 5 stars. I love Harry Potter so much. It's so magical. I just uploaded my reading vlog of the entire Harry Potter series, so you can go on over there to see a little bit more of my thoughts on this book. And the next one, because then I did read Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. This book is massive. I had such a fun time reading this, and like I said, it had been a while since I'd read these books, and it just made me feel so nostalgic, and I love to feel like I'm a kid again. And so the fact that I have this series that I can go back to and reread, and it always makes me feel like I am in elementary school staying up way too late reading these books, is like something that is so special. It's kind of like immortalized in this series, in the pages of these books. I cannot wait until I choose to reread this series again, but I also rated this one a 5 stars. The next book that I read was Nora Goes Off Script by Annabelle Monaghan. I'm not gonna say too much about this book because my reading vlog for this is coming out this Saturday. This book follows Nora. She is a newly divorced mother, and she's a screenwriter. So she wrote a movie about her whole experience, and it gets picked up to be made into a major movie, and they decide that they are going to film part of it at Nora's house. And when they finish filming, the film crew all leaves, and then Nora finds the guy who was casted to play her husband in the movie is still there at her house because he decided he needed a break from his fancy Hollywood life and wants to kind of adopt hers for a little while. It's the two of them and her two kids interacting a lot and seeing how he kind of like adapts her minimal lifestyle. Seeing the two of them get to know each other was really adorable. I did rate this a 5 stars. I did. This is my first non-reread 5-star of the year, which I'm so excited about. This reading vlog comes out on Saturday, so be on the lookout for that. Because then the next book that I read was Same Time Next Summer. I'm sure you are sensing a theme here. This book is also by Annabelle Monaghan. This book follows Sam. She is in kind of a very stale relationship with her fiance, but decides to go to her family's beach house for a long weekend. Through that is kind of seeing how the life that she has now built with her fiance is very different from the life that she had while she was growing up. Her childhood love lives next door to her family's beach house, so of course, going back, she has to see him again. And maybe there's still some feelings there. I ended up rating this one a 3 stars. I did not like it as much as I liked Nora's Goes Off Script. There's a particular trope in this book that I just can never really get behind when it's in a romance book. And so that inherently is just gonna make me not really enjoy it so much. That's what I felt about that book. And then the last book that I read in February, which I literally finished at like 11:59 on February 28th, was Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan. This one is kind of very similar to Nora Goes Off Script. Oh shoot, what's the lady's name? How bad is it that this is the most recent book that I read and I can't actually remember the main character's name? Allie. So this book follows Allie, once again, single mom in a fresh new divorce, and she is trying to figure out how to like rebuild her life. She kind of lost herself before she'd even got divorced, and so she doesn't even remember really who she used to be. She meets Ethan, and he has come back to his hometown for a temporary period of time. He's going to be leaving at the end of the summer, and they both like each other, so they decided that they're going to have a like no strings attached summer romance. How well do you think that's gonna end? I did enjoy this one more than Same Time Next Summer because it's more similar to Nora Goes Off Script, which I rated a 5 stars. So I ended up rating this one a 4 stars because I do still like Nora Goes Off Script more than Summer Romance, but I did really enjoy it. Those are the 6 books that I read in February. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I will read more in March than I did in either January or February. We will find out. Maybe I'll make another reading wrap up at the beginning of April and find that I only read 3 books. Who knows? I don't. We'll find out. So those are all the books that I read in March. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up to let me know that you enjoy this type of content. Comment down below your favorite book that you read in February. Subscribe to my channel for more bookish content in the future. I hope you have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!